It's time to dad.
And welcome back to another episode of Time to Dad, where a bunch of dads get together and just shoot the breeze for whatever we've kind of come across in the evening. So welcome back, everyone. I think this is the lowest number we've ever done. There's only 5 or 6 of us. Tonight it's just the 3 of us. And we've never met in person. So it's always a good chuckle. How you guys doing?
Oh, living the dream. You just heard my drone story for the night.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it could have been worse though.
We got it out of the trees, so batting 1,000.
How long did it take you?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably 40 minutes altogether. That's what happens when you're...
Drones are definitely a thing that are becoming bigger these days. You know,
It's huge.
You know, you see them, and I know my brother-in-law bought them when they were first kind of coming out, and everybody was talking about it for a long time. And I know in the real estate world, right, or picture world, right, weddings, right, Nick, this is what your wife does. But that was your first experience with one, really, kind of, right?
And also,
I just want to be clear. I didn't get it caught in the tree. She did. I was under the car changing oil when I heard the mulcher fly into the tree.
But I heard some cities are now doing like Amazon deliveries with the damn things now.
Dude, I was watching a surf fishing video, and they were using a drone to fly the bait way out off the coast and drop it. Because you obviously can only cast but so far, and they were using a drone to fly the bait out, and then they just drop it in the ocean and fly the drone back and let it sit and see what they catch.
Wow.
Yeah. It's crazy.
On the side note, I saw that they've just the FDA just approved for cell-grown chicken to be made available to the public. So it's not made from animals that are killed, but cells that are grown and made into chicken.
Wait.
I did see that. I swear it was like meat. And Bill Gates made some, the meat. Yes, so what's your thought on that?
So now we got mystery meat, and what's the like Wonder Burger, or what the hell's the tofu bean burger?
Oh, this bean burger is tofu, right? But then there's the plant-based, the Impossible.
That's it.
Stuff,
Yeah. So now we got mystery chicken and Impossible burgers.
And then in Sweden, I think it was Sweden, they got these little implants that are like the size of a grain of rice that they put in their hand here, and you can use that to open doors, make payments.
I've seen there's a guy that has the Tesla chip in his hand to unlock his Tesla. I saw that on a reel.
What's wrong?
I don't know.
It's a scary world.
What are your thoughts on that shit? I mean, do you think it's gonna like that goes into a real gray area of privacy,
It does.
Big Brother, all of that?
And what happens when somebody wants your damn car? They hack your hand off and run over and unlock your car? Like, I don't know. The world is just weird.
That's like one of those topics where you go, I forget the movie. There was a movie. It was like, talking about stuff like that for years. And like what it's going to be like, and everything that, like brain chips and, like you just said, putting it in your hand, but you're controlled at that point. They really wanted you, not to get a little conspiracy theory on everybody that's listening, but it is a little crazy thinking what, like I said, what technology is given to us compared to what's probably actually out there, right?
And where do you draw the line? Like,
yes.
When is it too much technology and not enough human?
You're not gonna know till we're way past it. By the time somebody like big and noteworthy finally says like we need to slow down the technology, it's going to be too late to reverse it.
They've been saying that already about the AI. I mean, that's
I mean, you saw with the logo. I mean, AI is freaking crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it really can do anything.
Yeah.
I use a software on my coaching calls, and AI basically gives me all the notes. I don't have to sit there scribbling notes, and I get all these notes back, categorize topics, timeframes, gives me analytics of when, who spoke for how much, who spoke for more in
Wow.
the positive tense, more in the negative tense, cadence, number of words per minute. Like, gives it everything.
Holy crap.
And it gives it to me within 10 minutes after the call. Like, it's bananas.
Really?
I mean,
So wait, so what do you do with that though? Like, what do you? So you're saying you use it like on your team meetings, like calls,
No,
like
so
with
it's
your-
for coaching. So I'll have a coaching call with the client, and instead of me having to sort of listen and scribble notes down as he's talking, I can just totally focus in and listen, not worry about taking notes, because the AI is going to give me all the notes after the meeting and categorize it down. It pulls out everything. It's like, so and so is important in the client's life. This area is important in their life. It gives you, like the last coaching call, there's about 12 different topics we touched on, and it has a breakdown under each, and it's crazy.
And do you like turn on like one of the apps and that kind of just like listens in? Is that what it is?
No,
Or
it's like Zoom, but I go into the software and
Okay.
just hit video call, start session, and off we go.
Wow.
Crazy.
I mean, there's crazy tech. Like, there's grocery stores that have already implemented like sensors in their stores. They can tell how long you were in an aisle, what part of the aisle you were in. They can tell like which aisles are most trafficked and parts of the stores.
Have you heard of Amazon Go in Seattle?
Yeah,
You don't have to. There's no checkout.
yeah.
You walk in, you scan your phone when you walk in, you pack all your groceries in the cart, and you walk out.
Yeah, it
just
just
automatically
knows what's
tries
in
to
your
get
cart when you pass through that entry.
Yeah, it's like bye-bye human being jobs.
Yeah, dude, that shit drives me nuts. Do you guys have a lot of self checkout where you are?
Costco's got
Yeah,
self-checkout now. What's
man, I get so frustrated because they're like, "Hey, check yourself out," because we don't want to pay more employees to check you out.
Yeah.
And then you spend 5 minutes waiting for somebody to come over because it didn't like the weight of the damn strawberries you put on the scanner. And I've gotten so ticked off, man, just waiting that I've just left all my shit on the register and just walked out before. I'm just like, man,
I
like,
think I was standing behind you that time.
yeah, if you want me to check myself out, then friggin' let me check myself out. Like, if you want to babysit me, then open more lines so you can check it out. Like, that stuff drives me crazy.
They don't even have a manned cashier there.
Yeah.
It's only self-checkout. And you're like, come on.
Yeah.
You couldn't get a single person. You got like 5 people watching us
Yeah.
do this. You couldn't take one.
And they're just walking around on their cell phones,
Yeah.
doing nothing. Yeah, I do gotta say the Costco. I have the membership of Costco and BJ's, and Costco's way that they operate it is just so much better. At least by the ones I go to anyway. And BJ's, it's like, yeah, and BJ's is like there'll be like 4 people just like staring at you, and they're just like looking like, yeah, you know, like you're supposed to self checkout. We're not helping. And then at Costco, they'll come over. It's kind of like the funny commercials you always see from like Chick-fil-A. Right? It's like where they're like chasing down because you forgot the sauce and they like ran down the street to give you the sauce type thing. Costco's like service is almost like that by us. You know, like where they're like they'll do anything to almost like make you feel good when you in the store.
Sam's Club is the opposite.
They-
They just want to make sure you're not stealing shit.
That's Walmart as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Costco's good by us. There's only like I think the one I go to's only got like 2 or maybe 4 self checkouts, and the rest they have 2 cashiers working at each one still.
Nice.
They have one person boxing it, putting it back in your cart, and the other person's ringing it up for you.
Yeah, we're lucky if they have one lane open at Sam's Club. There's like an actual person that'll assist you.
Okay. And what Sam's Club? I have one near me. That's like a place I never go to though, and I don't know why. I just never thought.
I mean, it's literally the same thing as Costco. It's just different brands because Sam's Club is part of like the Walmart chain, I think. So at Sam's Club, you get like the Kirkland chain brand, things like that. But they're exactly the same store. They just carry different brands.
Okay.
But same concept. You get a discount for buying in bulk, that kind of thing.
Subscription.
And I think it's a little bit cheaper than a Costco membership, if I'm correct. Because we have 3 for some weird reason. We have Costco, Sam's Club, and BJ's. Well, I don't know what hell just happened, but we had some technical issues. I think we got them sorted out. Everybody's back together. Speaking of getting on track or staying on track, you guys have any pointers or good practices for staying on track in life, work, what have you?
I think when you get caught off guard or you get off the if I look my first 6 months of the year, I was like really disciplined and not drinking, getting up early, working out, and then the last couple of weeks it's just been like took my foot off the gas, took a breather, took a break, and now I'm just getting back in it. So it's just a reminder, for me, I had to remind myself why I was doing all that stuff, because I had big goals that I was going after, and getting that back in sort of the top of mind for me is what has helped. But it's been a good little break.
Well, so I was gonna ask her, because I think big thing of staying on track is what gets us off track, right? So like, what got you off track?
I think my wife needed me to not be stuck in so much of a routine and needed a little bit of fun in the life and not just all work.
A little too hyper focused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Took a breather and just getting back now to.
So it was on purpose.
Oh yeah, totally intentional. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So she was nudging you, or you kind of felt on your own like you were.
We were sort of testing our vows for better or for worse.
I got you.
We came to an agreement.
Yeah.
That it was death do us part, so we better figure that shit out.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say with my wife's schedule, we've kind of run into that a couple times where I get frustrated that she's trying to knock out a wedding and meet her schedule and timeline, but that a lot of times that means late nights of editing. So Emerson gets to see a little less of her, I see a little less of her, and that'll start to wear on me. And I'll do the same thing. I'll kind of nudge her, but we get to those testing the vows kind of state of things, and we both are just kind of like, damn, we gotta figure something different out.
Start going back in, yeah. I think that comes back to some of the episodes we've done in the past, right, where it's like communication and stuff too. And I mean, it's staying on track sometimes of anything is, you maybe having that partner to kind of keep you accountable to stay on track for things too.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Like I know, like dieting stuff, like if I'm trying to get in shape or do stuff, my wife is a late night snacker. So I always
sit down on the couch with some Oreos.
Yeah, every freaking time. And I'm like, I had a salad and like 6 eggs today, and now you got the Oreos, the barbecue chips. Like, you could have done this before I got home. Great. And it's kind of like, all right, well, like you're putting it in front of me, and then it's a matter of willpower. Am I going to blame you that I ate the Oreo? Am I going to be a man and not eat the Oreo? And just right?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Win that inner battle.
I was gonna say, do you eat the Oreo or no?
Yeah, I usually.
Any type of routine or like something you're working on, they always say like you have to, at some point you do have to reward yourself, otherwise it's a mental thing that like you're just putting yourself through hell or whatever for no reason if there's no reward on the other side.
Yeah, definitely. And I also think that staying on track with one's goals, my goal is to have an amazing marriage and a happy wife. So it sort of works in all ways. And sometimes you go, the whole work-life balance is like it's never going to be permanent. Sometimes you're going to pay more attention to work, and sometimes you're going to pay more attention to not work, to life. So it's just a case of refocusing on what's important and sort of going from there.
Yeah.
Are you guys listers? Do you make lists for yourself for things you want to accomplish, or you just kind of keep it all up in your noggin and do it that way?
100%.
I got some big goals.
Yeah, I gotta have a little checklist. I gotta have a calendar. I don't care if my Outlook calendar has all my appointments. I still gotta go and I have a little paper calendar I'll print out in Microsoft and write stuff on it on my desk. And the same thing with the list. I'll write it all out in my notebook, and then I'll put that paper up there and mark stuff off as I go. I just have to have like something tangible to track my progress.
There's a crazy statistic out there. I forget the exact numbers, but it's like the amount of percentage of people that reach their goals that they wrote down, and it's like 3% of people that like write it down, or people that hit their goals. Like the 3% hit them. Those are the ones that like wrote it down and put it on paper. And then there's like another statistics. It's this people that like put pictures in front of themselves. Mm-hmm. Like if you're like, your goal is to get to that house or move there or get to a certain level, and then you have that picture because it is, we are humans and we have wants, but if it's not in the forefront of your imagery or your brain, how are you going to push through the day? Because life gets tough and you get off track. You need something to wheel you back in. That's kind of like your why, I guess you'd say, type thing.
I created my own accountability journal to keep me on track. And so, Amazon guys, if you want to. And that's actually really helped me because I'd write my goals out every morning and the top 3 things I'm going to do in the day to move me towards those goals. And that's made a big difference in sort of just helping me stay on track.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
I think some of that goes, I don't know, you guys probably learned it in school, but they always talk about, somebody who you read something, you write it down, and then you regurgitate it either back to yourself or someone else is the best way to remember things and learn things, because there's 3 different parts to that learning. Every time you do one of those tasks, you're essentially relearning it again and further kind of ingraining it into your memory. I think that's why I do lists, because even if I don't have it in front of me, I've written it down in enough places that I can still recall little obscure things that I know I need to tackle.
Yeah. Now, do you feel like, so I think like a lot of times, is it something that you guys learned on your own? Is it something that you saw from like a dad, right? Is it something, or is it something that you, kind of like the little tips and tricks, like where did you kind of, like I got it. I mean, I saw my dad always, working hard as a kid, and he worked in the city, so he didn't really have a chance to kind of create a different schedule. It was like he was on a train at 5 o'clock in the morning, home by 7:15. And I ate dinner, showered, or went in the pool. Like I remember going. It was like a routine that he did. It was like always the same thing every day. I always saw that as a kid, but I kind of learned it. I didn't realize that until I got older, but I learned it kind of, through one of my older brothers a little bit too, of writing stuff down. Like I didn't realize that you should write things down until I saw some of the stuff he did. Where did you guys kind of pick it up from?
I think I've been obsessed with personal development for ages, and that's just something that's is repeated often. It's like write down the goals every day. Right, if you want to remember anything, if you want to achieve anything, you've got to write it down. Because even if you get an idea, write the idea down. Because we have a million ideas a day that just whoop through our heads and out and gone. But writing it down sort of just separates it from the bulk of the noise going on in our heads.
Yeah.
So for me, that's just what made sense for me.
Yeah, I don't know that I ever recall either of my parents being like a lister, but for me, I think it kind of just came out of necessity. I mean, in my line of work, you freaking document the hell out of everything. If you send an email to a client to confirm the way they want something done, I mean, you save it in the project folder. You've got the email in your inbox. We file it to basically this online file management program for our projects. And you're at any given day, you're bouncing around from, maybe 2-3 projects to anywhere up to 10. So if I didn't document stuff when I heard it or put it somewhere, it would just get lost. I mean, it would just become washed out with the next piece of information that flies in. So I think I really just kind of picked it up out of necessity, just to keep track of things and not forget where I'm supposed to be. So
easy things to do.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. And it's little. It's not always big things, right? It's the little. I feel like it's the little things you miss. Like if your kid's got a ball game or something, the likelihood you're gonna forget to have a game that night is probably a lot higher than some tiny little, Joe, you needed to update a sentence in a proposal for a client or something. Those little things are the things that tend to slip through the gaps. But something you think is little could also be massive. I mean, we've had silly shit happen on projects that you just think, we screwed up, and it turns out to be a huge, $100,000 ordeal. So that's just kind of where my documentation of things came from.
Do you write it down, or does it go on your phone?
It's either in my phone or it's like a follow-up email. So it'll either be
so it's not written down
digital.
Digital,
something. I mean, if my phone's easily accessible, I might pop it in there and enter it on my notes in there. But usually it's either me sending a follow-up email saying, hey, per our conversation, this is what's going to happen, or it's me going directly into a project and making whatever change it is. But that's for in the moment stuff. If it's stuff I need to plan out, then it's definitely on a hard list on a piece of paper. I may duplicate that list into digital format somewhere else, like my calendar on Outlook or something. But it's always at least on a piece of paper.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like when I have stuff to do at home, I write it down. If it's stuff I got to do for work and things like that, then it's in it's digital. But then when I get to the office, I write it down on a piece of paper so I can physically check it off.
Yeah,
I need to cross it off. That's that satisfying. I got that.
Yeah.
Right, and that's one of the best things. Now, are your wives? Do they do lists?
My wife's a big lister.
Yeah.
List for everything. Okay. She made this frou-frou. It's probably on Pinterest or some shit, but she saw they basically take picture frames, and behind the picture frame you draw actually no, on the picture frame glass. So you put a white piece of paper in where you would put a picture on a picture frame, and every month you literally draw out the calendar on it. It's essentially a dry erase board. It just doesn't look like a dry erase board because she goes through and writes on the glasses stuff. And some months she's better than others at, putting stuff on there. But it's either on there or I get 9 million invites every time she gets a new wedding booked. It hits my Google Calendar. Kids, hey, I can't get Emerson from daycare this day, or hey, his appointment's this day. It's all on a calendar. So she's pretty organized as far as the note taking and staying on track.
Mine's got paper lists everywhere. She's got a grocery list, a to-do list, a to-buy list, all that. But when it comes to using a calendar,
nope.
She hates using digital. She's like, fuck
that.
Yeah. we're not very tech savvy family over here. We're this is the on button.
Nice.
Yeah, I wish we were more tech like that. I know, I remember I had a family. It was a family. They were all clients, and it was parents, the sons, the cousins, and they all had an app that they shared what each other were doing because they all lived in the same house. There was 6 of them, and they shared what they were doing. They could put in Nick is going to be here at 6 o'clock. This and that. So they and then there was little boxes, and I was like, that is crazy. That they would put in, hey, I'm going to be at Ben's house from 1 to 3 o'clock, so everybody in the family knew where they were going to be. I was like,
that's cool. I saw a cool thing, man. I forget what it's called, but it's a digital. I mean, they make it look all nice. You mount it on the wall, and it's you share everyone's calendars, link up to it, and you can create your grocery lists, your meal plans, and all that shit. And it's all color coded and stuff like that, so you can plan out. It's for families, for organized families, not our family.
Yeah.
The idea of it's great.
I was gonna say my family life terribly unorganized, but my work life is organized.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine it was the other way around. Whew.
It's tough. It's tough, like especially sometimes like if you're very structured, like I always try to be so structured at work, and then it's like, all right, you want to turn it off and then have nothing planned and structured when you get home sometimes. And it's like, what do you want to do? Nothing. I don't want to plan it. I just want to, things happen. It's kind of like some of our episodes.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, right? Whatever we're going to talk about is what's going to come out of our mouths. And that's kind of sometimes how I want it to be, like on the weekend, or if I know I'm going to shut down on Sunday. Whatever.
Was it like that growing up?
What's that?
Was it like that growing up? Because you said your dad had quite a set routine.
Yeah, I mean during the week, yeah. I mean during the week it was like I said, he got home at 7:30, ate dinner. That was kind of during the week. The weekends, it was always filled with sports. So I don't really remember, I feel like, being on time, because my mom was a stay-at-home mom really until I was in middle school. So she kind of did all of that type of stuff. And, and then I remember being on the soccer field or something. And then we'd be all of a sudden, my dad would show up to the game a little bit late and wave for 5 minutes to make sure he got your attention. I'm like, Dad, I'm playing a freaking game. I can't pay attention to that. Hey, John, hey. And I'm like, Dad, stop. But that was, so I don't know if it was like that on the weekends, but during the week, I mean, we had, all right, you got home from school, you did your homework, you
what are the biggest things you took from home that you would now apply in your own life, would you say?
I think one of the best things that we always had is we always made it a point to eat dinner.
Damn, dude, you read my mind. You stole mine.
That was... Well, I mean, he didn't ask me specifically. You could jump in.
I was like, he's going to say what I was about to say.
Yeah, I think that's just a time where it was kind of unwind, right? And if we could bring that back to our society, I think that would be awesome. I know we don't get to do it all the time, right? I mean, you see me, I'm still in the office tonight, but when we do, it's that was freaking cool. That, just to sit down as a family, kind of talk about the day. And now, my kid's not really talking about his day yet, but I know in the future, that's going to be something I look forward to so much. And that definitely happened a lot. My mom always had dinner cooked every single night. There was dinner cooked, home cooked meal. We didn't go out too much. If we did, it was my dad would stop and get something. It was a treat.
Yeah.
Type thing. Cool,
order a couple pizzas.
Yeah, he'd stop get pizzas or Burger King or something like that. Type stuff. But I think that's one of the big things that I'll always kind of remember from childhood, and that. So I would say, Nick, share yours. But
I mean, it's pretty similar. The only difference is, I mean, we still are able to eat together regularly, but it's not at the table setting, right? I think you're talking about, we weren't just at the table and the only thing you could do was talk to each other or stuff your face, right? So it'd be kind of boring dinner if nobody talked. But we find ourselves, we'll grab the food, and Emerson's got a little kid's play table downstairs with chairs that he'll pull up to, and he'll eat there. And my wife and I'll sit on the sofa or whatever and eat. So I'm thankful we can at least be eating together. But I do kind of wish at times that it was more like the old school dinners I'm used to, where everybody's at the table. You don't have your friggin' cell phone going off. Emerson's not watching freaking Pac-Man or something on YouTube. We're just chilling there, kind of talking about each other's days. So yeah, I miss that, and it's something I would love to do, but with our schedules, I mean, it's just so go sometimes. It's just hard to get. It's hard to all sit down at once to where sitting at a table together would make sense. Because sometimes we're whipping him up something quick because it's late and we just got to get him fed. Meanwhile, our food's still cooking. So, yeah, that stuff kind of screws with it.
I think it's hard in this day and age because there's less stay-at-home moms and it's more two working parents.
Yep.
So
100%.
coming home to home cooked meal is a rarity.
Yeah.
You know, so that's more the oh shit, we're having a home cooked meal tonight kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the table. Whereas 20, 30 years ago, that was standard.
Yeah.
You know, for a lot of people anyway.
Yeah, I agree with that. We catch ourselves sometimes. It's, you know, if we do cook a home cooked meal, you're not done till like 7, and by the time Emerson eats, it's like almost bedtime. So we find ourselves buying, you know, the throw it in the oven stuff that's just really not great for you. But I try to cook when I can and we have time.
Are you the cooker?
I definitely cook more than what my wife. She tries. She finds interesting recipes. Some of it's pretty good, but she's more likely to. I mean, she's got like 2 or 3 recipes that she really likes that she'll like make home cooked stuff. Yeah, but other times, I mean, we have like U crops down here. They have really good. It's better than like the Stouffer's type stuff. For you, but it's still like pre-made. You just throw it in the. It's like baked spaghetti and stuff like that. So.
Okay. Yeah. Did you ever try? Either you guys ever try like those
Hello Fresh? Yeah.
Yeah. Fresh.
So we've done Hello Fresh and Blue Apron.
Yeah.
Blue Apron was okay. Overpriced actually both of them were overpriced in my opinion, but the last one we did was Hello Fresh, and the only problem I really had with Hello Fresh is they wouldn't cycle like the side, like the produce enough. So you'd have like I think my mom got us a gift certificate. It was like 3 meals for 4 people, 3 meals a week. But those 3 meals would all have like friggin' bok choy as the vegetable side, right? And then next week they'd be on like a potato kick. So all 3 meals would have friggin' potatoes. So, I think that just has to do with how they order, you know, their stock.
Yeah, probably keep their costs down.
Yeah. And so that kind of annoyed me, but the recipes were really good, and each one came with it came with a little laminated card, and the recipes we really like, we kept them. They're in like the cookbook, and I still make some of them. But as far as like we ordered, we had the meal that would feed 4 people, and with just my wife and Emerson in the house when we got it was barely enough to feed us.
I was going to say the portions of those.
Yeah, I mean it is. And I mean I'm not a big guy, right? So it doesn't take a gigantic meal to fill me up. But yeah, we were definitely not agreeing with the 4-person portion size. My stomach would have been growling.
If you see like if they go, you get a cereal, and I pour it, you just pour it into the bowl. But if you actually weigh out the portion you're supposed to have.
Yeah,
it's like it's tiny.
Yeah,
it's like
it's ridiculous. It's like who eats that? But that's probably why Americans, like 80% of us, are obese. Like it's like, you know, because the serving size is never something you would ever really eat.
The portions of America are freaking crazy, man.
Yeah,
like I was blown away when I came in. You get a ham and cheese sandwich in South Africa. You're getting a slice of cheese and a slice of ham and 2 slices of bread. That's it.
Oh, really?
I came here and I wanted ham and cheese. I got like 6 slices of cheese, 8 slices of ham.
Yeah, it's like a quadruple decker club sandwich. Yeah. That's interesting.
But that's America for you, right? Like that's a huge difference. Like it's quantity sometimes, right, over sometimes the quality, you know, and some of the food. Where I think in other places, even like we, you know, my wife's family's from Poland, so we would travel to Europe and stuff, and you go there, and it's simple, it's good, but it's not overabundance of food.
Yeah.
It's like bottom times, you know. It's just that.
My daughter-in-law is from Poland.
What is that?
My daughter-in-law, her family's from Poland.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. You gotta go. Beautiful.
I went with them to Poland about a year ago, I think.
Okay.
Architecture is amazing. It's really cool.
So cool. So cool. Yeah, great. If you love like history and stuff like that, because especially here, right in America, we're only 300 something years old or whatever it is. You go there, you go so far back, and I was never into that stuff as a kid, but I thought that was, we went a few years and saw that, but the dollar goes far in Poland too, so that was kind of the nice part. You go there, I'll take the duck, I'll take that pizza, I'll take this. Why? Because I can right now.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
and I'm gonna eat it all because I'm, that was the other part too. They're probably like, look at this guy.
Do they do ice in Poland, or are they like most of Europe, like warm drinks, or
Most
at
of
best
it
cool?
was warm drinks, but like, I remember when we went there, everything. I just want ice cold drinks all the time, and
Yeah.
they would not. My in-laws wouldn't let me have the ice in case you would get sick.
Yeah. When I went to Germany, we got mad dirty looks if somebody asked for ice.
Did you?
Yeah. It's just, I mean,
Wow.
even beer there is warm. It's super rare if you go in somewhere and order a beer and they give you like a cold pint out of a tap.
That's
Yes.
it's got to be cold.
Yeah. I mean, it was interesting. Like when I went there, it was like, I don't even remember when I went there. It was part of like language for school. We took a trip to Germany, Austria, and Switzerland over the course of, I think it was a week and a half. And
That's cool.
yeah, and I think we were right at the drinking age, so we got beers in a couple places, but we were still super young, so we didn't get like shit faced. But yeah, it was everything there is like drinks are warm, like desserts that you would think were cold, like certain pies you'd think should be cold. Nope, they're
I
warm.
was just so backwards.
Yeah, it was interesting.
I was really young, which means I definitely got shit.
You could so in the hotels, instead of like here where they've got like soda machines in the hallways and stuff, over there they've got like 40-ounce beers in those drink machines in the hallways and stuff. I mean, they're just all about some beer in Germany.
Oktoberfest.
Yeah,
right?
my dad has he when he was stationed in the military, he was a translator in Germany, and he's got some video and some slides of pictures he took while he was there through Oktoberfest. It's like super cool. I'm sure it's obviously a little different now because I don't even know how many years ago. But yeah, I totally would like to go there for Oktoberfest.
Yeah, that would probably be awesome. That would
Yeah.
be awesome. Let's say. Yeah. That's I don't know. I can't do the whole warm beer thing at all.
Yeah.
That is definitely not something. I can barely do it as mine starts cooling down like halfway through. I'm like, all right, let's take a new one, get this one back in the fridge. I want it to be cold. I want ice cold.
I was a pilot with ice.
Yeah.
I'm having a soda or anything like that. That's ice cold. But I'm in Florida, so that's probably different. 96 degrees. The heat index was like 106 today.
Oh.
Something stupid.
No, thanks.
The pool was 90 degrees. It's
Wow. Damn. That is yeah. I wouldn't even. That's not even fun at that point. When I think of like a pool, you pop in it at the end of like a long day and it's chilly.
Yeah, I mean,
the heat index with the humidity is like 106. So you get in the pool, it's still super refreshing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I guess. Yeah. Yeah, the humidity here is pretty gnarly. You walk from your car to the office and you're like just dripping in sweat from the humidity. Yeah. It just clings to you. So nasty.
I dig it. After coming from Washington, it's like you walk outside, it's like walking into a warm hug.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, because you've been in a few different places, right, Luke? So.
I mean, yeah, it's from South Africa to Bahamas, Caribbean, Washington.
Oh, hey, that's the first I'm hearing of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did 5 months in the Caribbean.
So, as a dad, if you had one place to raise your children, where would it be?
All day long.
Really?
South Africa 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Not South Africa. Now I wouldn't feel I'd love to, but there's just not as much opportunity, and the currency's terrible. And just to be blunt, if you're a white male, you're the bottom of the food chain. It's going to be that much harder for you to succeed because of affirmative action in our country's history. So outside of that, I mean, I'm loving St. Augustine where we are right now. From the weather-wise, the laid-back, the small-town vibe, people are super friendly, the schools are great, so it's been a good move for us.
Are you in a fairly conservative area?
I mean, it's Florida, so I think a lot of it is conservative, but because it's such a tourist town, there's something like 6 million tourists a year. It's not heavy one way or the other because it's just such a mixed bag of people coming in here. There's one lady who's walks around town with a big Trump flag yelling at people.
Yeah. That's how everyone paints Floridians.
Yeah. Other than that, it's pretty laid back and chilled, and there's no heavy sort of, what is the word? Divisiveness between people. Like everyone's just having a good time because they're all on vacation.
Yeah. All I see is, who is it? DeSantis on the TV and all that going on. I'm just like, what? Is that what Florida's like, or is that just what the media wants Florida to look like?
Well, this part of Florida is awesome. My wife and I met in West Palm Beach, and that's more like South Florida.
Yeah.
Closer to sort of Fort Lauderdale, Miami area. Very different vibe between the two. This is definitely way more laid back and less. I mean, it's Fort Lauderdale, all the big white luxury yachts. It's more pretentious.
Yeah.
Here, it's more small town vibe. You know, people walk around in shorts and slops.
Yeah.
They don't care. And my wife jokes, she's like, when you see an old dude riding a bike, you don't know if he's homeless or just rich and doesn't give a fuck.
So I think maybe time for one more topic, fellas. Maybe I'm thinking what kind of joys are you guys getting out of being a dad, or what kind of proud dad moments do you have with your kids?
How long do you want?
Oh man,
I got a lot, man. I'm just loving it. So I'm my first kid at 17, and with him, his mom and I stayed together for a couple of years, but then we broke up. So I didn't get to be there in the home all the time, you know, having weekends and stuff like that. So I missed out on that. So for me, it's really just having a second opportunity to have that experience, and it's just such a joy. Even when they're screaming, it's kind of like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
You know, because I didn't get the full experience with my first son. So seeing them all playing together and laughing and stuff like that is just great. And then, like, I lost with my one kid because they're just being full of shit and not listening, and I gave them a tongue lashing and sort of walked away. And my son this morning came through, climbs into bed, gives me a hug. He's like, I'm so sorry about last night, Daddy.
Nice.
We were listening. I was like, we're raising him right. So that was pretty cool.
I was going to say that it's those, what gets me are those random little hugs, right? Where the little people run up to you and just hug you for absolutely no reason out of the middle of nowhere. Just those always kind of get me weak in the knees. And then, and then, kind of like you, because I came into my stepdaughter's life kind of late. So I kind of got just chucked into the deep end of parenting with her. So it's kind of nice to almost roll back the clock now that Emerson's here, because I too kind of got to start over and take it, from the ground up with him. Those are definitely pretty cool dad joys.
Yeah, it's definitely a little different. I guess different, because you guys have more. I only have the one still, so he just turned 2. He just turned 2. So, but it's funny you said that, Nick. I just posted something on social media the other day, like that tiny little ass hug from your kid is like the greatest thing. Yeah. I forget the exact words, but I was like, it's a kid. And I was like more likes and comments and everything. But it is those little moments. you know, I think those are the special things when you
They,
can.
they just have such unfiltered joy in
Yeah.
you. Like there's no inhibition, there's no anything. There's just pure joy
Well,
and pure love.
and in some ways, you get to be a kid again, right? Because
Yeah.
these simplest little things will amaze the hell out of your kid to the point of where you're like, man, like I wish I could enjoy something that simple. And you kind of get
Yeah.
sucked into their little world of things you never thought you'd find hilarious or that would like make you happy are all of a sudden funny again, right? You're laughing at the dumbest cartoon you've ever watched with your kid. Like, well, I never thought I'd laugh watching this, you know?
Yeah.
Get your kid a little joke book for kids, and for bedtime tonight, instead of reading the bedtime story, we're reading each other bedtime jokes.
Nice.
Everyone's laughing at dumb shit. That was awesome.
But it is. It's like those are probably like the jokes that's like the little person dad jokes that are so stupid that they make you laugh.
Yeah.
I think, right? And so, yeah, but it is that those joys that you get that, like you said, you didn't think you could, almost like you didn't think you can get back is kind of like what kids kind of bring back to it. You know, like I don't know, we were just blowing bubbles the other day, and you know, and it was just like one of the simple things, blowing bubbles, and he's like watching them, he's going and popping them, and but doing it silently. So then when he popped it, like the next time I was like that, and he
was like, what?
Yeah, like he like started cracking up, and that pure joy giggle of a child.
Is he still is he still learning new sounds and like giving you those crazy like looks when he hears something new or that he hasn't really heard before, or is he past that? Because that was my favorite stage.
Yeah, I mean, certain things, you know, like he's my wife does an awesome job of like teaching him things and stuff, and he doesn't watch. He's never had an iPad yet.
Oh, nice.
So he's over 2. He's still never had an iPad. He doesn't care for the phones or anything. Like that's one thing, you know, we try to keep from him see us too much, and if he does, he'll see my phone. He goes, "Here you go, Dad." Yeah, and he gives it to you.
Damn.
But certain sounds like he's that are like can't like think of something now, but just something like that, or like if you make the spitting honey, then that goes around. Farting he finds funny, right?
Yeah, every kid finds a good fart funny.
We've been pretty good at like not, if we go to a restaurant, we'll let the kids play at the phones, just so we can have a conversation and they can have a quick game, whatever.
Yeah.
We never get them tablets or anything, but we had to fly to South Africa, and that's with flights and it was like 35 hours.
Oh.
And they were 3 and 4, 4 and 5. 2 boys, I can't remember. They were young though. So it was like, 3 and 4, but the twins weren't born yet. So even 2 or 3. And we're like, well, shit, what are we going to do here? So we got them this little Kindle Fire for Kids thing with the little...
Yeah, that's what we have.
And we told them it only works on airplanes. And to this day, they believe that.
Damn, that's
just had a conversation the other day. My wife,
great.
My wife wants her mom wants her to go to Poland with her in September. Thank God it's not 35 hours.
Damn, that's a dad hack. That should have been on our dad hack episode.
And that's what we were thinking. We're like, all right, well, what could we do? Because he's never used an iPad before, but he's going to get addicted. We're like, just got to tell him it only works on an airplane, and that's exactly. That's so funny. So I got to go home.
Just an hour or 2 before landing, you just unplug that little charger. As it lands,
time to give it back.
Yeah.
That's funny, awesome. Dude. Man, I needed that. I needed that advice earlier because we're the same. We try to limit it unless there's like, you know, if we're in a situation where it would just be ridiculous if you had a meltdown about something. We'll give it to him. But I mean, when we go out to dinner, we try to give him like his little magnet squares to play with and stuff. And a lot of times we're out with my sister and my mom and her kids. So he's got 2 other boys to kind of entertain each other till they piss each other off. But yeah, sometimes you've had enough that you just like, please take this and just be in your own little world, tapping the screen for, 30 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was gonna speaking of that, you go ahead.
I was say it's a different world now. You know,
Yeah.
You know, it's just
They have to be exposed to it.
yeah, they're accustomed to it. Like we didn't think of that stuff as kids because we didn't have it. You know, it's like all right, yeah, crayons was the treat when you went out to dinner. If they gave you a mat,
Well, you push the buttons and you try to get the loops over the little spikes.
Yeah. Or the peg jumping game that they still have at Cracker Barrel. Yeah.
You know, we had one place that used to give out wax sticks, and you could create like little people with them. These little colored wax sticks. Yeah,
I haven't seen that. All right.
It was called the Beach Tree. It was that was the name of the restaurant. So
we always, if they didn't give out, like if they didn't have games or a little crayon coloring sheet, we always mom would whip a pen out of her purse and we'd always do the number game, where somebody picks a number and then you've got to make like a cohesive picture with that number as like the focal point. Somebody would do like a number 2 and you'd like turn it into a bicycle or, you know, something like that. That was our like go-to time passer to occupy us.
Interesting.
Yeah. Just get the mind working.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
All right, well, fellas, I think it's our bewitching hour. Thanks everybody for sticking around. Sorry again about the technical difficulties. I don't know what happened with that, but hey, it happens. Hey, at least I hit record this time instead of going through 45 minutes and having nothing to show for it. So thank you guys for sticking around. We hope you had a good time here chatting with us tonight. Feel free to comment below, like and subscribe, and check out the Time to Dad Facebook group. And we'll catch you on the next episode. See ya.
See ya.